This is a basic AJAX example that does not use a simplifying framework. The getFile function connects with the server and downloads the specified file, in this case a text file. The getFile function is called in the links on click event. The XML HTTP request object is implemented by modern browsers. The window.activeX object creates a similar object and is required for older Internet Explorer browsers. The onReady state change event is called when the file data has been downloaded and is ready. The open method prepares the asynchronous request while the send method sends the request. Run the code. Now, look at the same code that uses the AJAX library. Here is the same link modified to use the AJAX library function named AJAX. Run the code. Notice here that the AJAX library file is included. Let's look at the AJAX library file. We will come back to the build form data function in a minute. The verb member of the request object is typically get or post string values. If not specified, then it defaults to a get request. Path is the URI or file of the request and defaults to the current page if not specified. Content type is set to the form's encoding type. Data is the form's data, be it a string or a form data object for uploading multi-part form data. OnProgress is a callback function used to set a progress indicator when uploading large amounts of data. OnSuccess is another callback function used when the request is complete. OnFailure is a callback function used when the request fails. Check the video description for a link to this AJAX library file. You have already seen a GET request. Now, let's look at posting form data. Here, the form's action, method, ink type, and onSubmit are all set. Here, the request object is set. The verb is set to the form's method. The path is set to the form's action. The content type is set to the form's ink type, and the data is compiled using the build form data function supplied by the AJAX library. The OnSuccess, OnProgress and OnFailure methods are all implemented. OnSuccess is called with a string as the response. It is JavaScript object notation in this case and can be parsed using the browser's parsing tools. On progress is called as the data is uploaded, making it possible to set a progress bar. This is useful when uploading files, for example. On failure is called when there is an error. Modify the code to parse the JavaScript object notation response. Run the code. Now, let's return to the AJAX library file. The params array is used to store key-value pairs. The FD variable will be assigned a form data object if the form's ink type is multi-part form data, and then only if the browser supports this object, which is used for uploading files. The majority of this function is parsing form fields and their various states. Return the size of the data in the form, if specified, otherwise, return the form data object if set or the key value pairs in the params array, joined by an ampersand. This should already be familiar to you. But briefly, this code creates the object that makes AJAX possible. When the AJAX object cannot be created, then send the failure code 0 to the client and stop execution. If a progress indicator is supported, then send the current % completion to the client. A ready state of 4 indicates that the data is ready, and a status of 200 means OK, or there were no errors. All other values are passed to the client as a failure. This code can easily be modified to support other statuses. This should look familiar by now. Notice that there are many content types that are supported, such as application/JSON, for when submitting JavaScript object notation data to the server. In this video, a Node.js server was used as a backend. Node.js is beyond the scope of this video, but here is the code for the server should you want to duplicate these projects. Like this video and subscribe to see more like it.